The small blue planet looked dead from orbit. Commander Lisa Hayes stared at the main screen of the Pathfinder as it showed swirling dust storms and vast gray oceans. Something about this world called to her. Their mission was just to map and move on, but the readings didn't make sense. "There's artificial structures down there," said Paul Martinez, tapping his screen. "And energy signatures, weak but steady." Lisa nodded. "That's what bothers me. The planet's atmosphere is collapsing, but someone's still home." Earth had only joined the galactic community 3 years ago. Humans were still newcomers, eager to explore and learn. The Galactic Confederation had given them maps, rules, and warnings about where they could and couldn't go. This planet wasn't marked as off-limits. It wasn't marked at all. "Taking us down," Lisa said. She felt that familiar pull in her gut, that feeling that they were about to find something important. The landing wasn't smooth. High winds buffeted the ship as Paul guided it down to a flat area near one of the energy signals. When they stepped outside in their environment suits, the air was thin and cold. Dust stung their face shields. "Over there," said Kelly Ward, their science officer, pointing to what looked like a domed building half buried in sand. As they approached, a door slid open. Lisa's hand moved to her sidearm, but she kept it holstered. First contact protocol was clear. Show peaceful intentions unless threatened. The beings that emerged were small, reaching only to Lisa's waist. Their skin glowed with a soft blue light that pulsed gently. They had 4 arms, no hair, and large eyes that blinked slowly at the humans. One of them held up a device. "Welcome," said a mechanical voice from the device. "Are you here to watch us die too?" Lisa felt a chill that had nothing to do with the planet's cold air. "No. We're explorers from Earth. We detected your settlement and came to say hello." The aliens looked at each other. Their skin flickered with changing patterns of light. "Earth," the device translated. "New to space, not part of the Confederation long. You will learn." Paul stepped forward. "Learn what? What's happening here? Who are you?" "We are Valyrians. This is our home. It is dying. We are dying. Many have come. All have left." The aliens led them inside the dome, where the air was warm and breathable. Lisa removed her helmet and saw that the interior was beautiful. Crystal structures cast rainbow patterns on curved walls covered with intricate art. Dozens more Valyrians moved about, working on devices or tending to gardens growing under artificial light. A taller Valyrian approached. "I am Karim, elder of this settlement. You are the 8th species to visit since our crisis began. Will you be the first to help?" Lisa listened as Karim explained their situation. The Valyrians were scientists and artists who had freely shared their knowledge with other races for centuries. When their planet began dying from natural causes, they asked the Confederation for help. "They said we were non-viable," Karim said. "Too few in number, too physically weak to colonize other worlds. Not worth the resources to save." "That's horrible," Kelly whispered. Lisa watched as Karim showed them their achievements. Despite their small size and fragile bodies, the Valyrians had created incredible technology. They understood how to heal their planet, but lacked the physical strength to build what was needed. "The others took our knowledge and left," Karim said. "Confederation rules allow this. Species must prove their value and strength to earn help." Lisa thought about Earth, still new to the galactic community, still learning the rules. She thought about human history, filled with both cruelty and compassion. "I need to contact my superiors," she said finally. "But I promise you this, humans don't measure worth by strength or numbers." Paul looked worried. "Commander, the Confederation protocols clearly state." "I know what they state." Lisa cut him off. "And I know what's right." She turned back to Karim. "Tell us exactly what you need. We're not leaving you to die." For the first time, the Valyrian's skin glowed with a bright, steady light. It looked like hope. Captain Greg Watson read Lisa's report for the 3rd time, not quite believing what he was seeing. He looked up at the worried faces of his senior staff in the meeting room of Earth Central Command. "So Commander Hayes wants to help an alien race without Confederation approval," he said slowly. "Do we understand what that means for Earth?" Kate Miller, their diplomatic officer, nodded. "The Confederation has been clear. Every species must prove its worth. The Valyrians were judged and found wanting." Found wanting. Alan Murphy, the science officer, slammed his hand on the table. "They're intelligent beings with art, culture, and advanced technology. How can we just let them die?" Greg understood both sides. Earth had only recently gained access to interstellar travel through the Confederation. They were still learning the rules of galactic politics. Breaking those rules could have serious consequences. "I need to take this to Admiral Nelson," Greg said. Admiral Frank Nelson was not happy. His office overlooked the spaceport where ships from a dozen alien worlds were currently docked. Trade that had transformed Earth's economy in just 3 years. "Absolutely not," he said after hearing Greg's request. "We cannot risk our standing with the Confederation over one small species." "With respect, sir," Greg replied. "Commander Hayes reports that the Valyrians have been systematically exploited. Species visit them, take their knowledge, and leave them to die." Frank frowned. "That's unfortunate, but not our problem. The Confederation has rules for a reason." "What reasons, sir?" "Because from where I stand, it looks like the strong preying on the weak." Kate had been researching in the Confederation archives. She found records that the Valyrians had once been celebrated scientists who shared knowledge freely. But when their planet began dying, no one would help them relocate. They were too physically fragile to be useful as workers, too few in number to be valuable as consumers, and too pacifistic to be respected. Greg called another meeting with his team. "Kate, what did you find?" She displayed images of Valyrian achievements, medical techniques that had saved billions of lives across the galaxy, art that was displayed in Confederation museums, scientific theories that had advanced dozens of civilizations. "They gave everything," she said, "and when they needed help, they were abandoned." Ellen studied the Valyrian situation. "Their planet can be saved. Their atmosphere is fixable with our technology. It would take time and resources, but it's possible. And against Confederation directives," Greg reminded them. "Maybe not completely," Kate said thoughtfully. "The rules say we can't offer full-scale aid without approval, but there's nothing against sending a scientific mission for extended observation of a dying world." Greg saw the loophole. And if that scientific mission happens to test some atmosphere-improving technologies while observing? For 3 days, Greg argued with Earth leadership. Some agreed with him. Others feared angering the Confederation. In the end, they reached a compromise. "Limited assistance only," the Earth president told him. "Nothing that can be detected from orbit. Nothing that officially violates Confederation protocols." It wasn't enough, but it was a start. Greg called Lisa. "We're sending specialists," he told her. "Terraforming experts, engineers, medical personnel. Officially, you're conducting extended observations of a natural planetary extinction. Unofficially." Lisa smiled on the video screen. "Understood, Captain. The Valyrians have already shown us ways to hide our activities from orbital scans. They've had plenty of practice concealing things from the Confederation." As Greg ended the call, Kate entered his office. "The supply ship leaves tomorrow. We're calling it Operation Sanctuary." Greg nodded. "We're making powerful enemies, Kate." "And the right friends," she replied. "The Valyrians may be physically weak, but their knowledge is vast. Besides, isn't this why we went to space? To discover new life and new civilizations, not to watch them die." Greg looked out at the stars. Humanity was new to this galactic community, but maybe they could teach the older species something about compassion. "Operation Sanctuary begins tomorrow," he said, "and may the Confederation be too busy to notice." The Pathfinder returned to the Valyrian world with a much larger crew. Lisa looked out at the landing zone, where a dozen specialists in environment suits worked alongside the glowing Valyrians. Everyone moved with purpose and urgency. The atmospheric processors are in place, Olivia Rodriguez, the terraforming expert, reported. We've hidden them in the old mountain mines, as the Valyrians suggested. Lisa nodded. How long until we see results? A few weeks for the first changes. 6 months for real improvement. The good news is that once started, the process will continue on its own. Chris Bennett, the team's xenobiologist, approached with a Valyrian whose skin pulsed with excited blue patterns. Commander, Phalos wants to show us something important. Lisa followed them into a cave network that opened into a massive underground chamber. The walls were covered with glowing symbols and diagrams. Phalos touched a crystal, and holographic images filled the air. This is our library, Phalos explained through his translation device. Knowledge from 17 species who visited us. Chris gasped. This is incredible. Medical techniques, energy systems, space travel designs. They shared some knowledge with us, Phalos said. We improved it. When they returned, they took our improvements but gave nothing back. Lisa studied the displays. You have technology from all these species. We understand it, Phalos replied. But we lack materials and strength to build most of it. Joe Parker, the ship's mechanic, had formed a friendship with the elder Valyrian. He spent hours learning about their world before its decline. Phalos showed him images of vast crystal cities that once stood where dust storms now rage. Your people built all that? Joe asked in wonder. We did. Our bodies are weak, but our minds are strong. We worked with the planet, not against it. Before the natural cycle change, we lived in balance. As Joe helped repair a water filtration system, Phalos taught him about Valyrian music and art. In return, Joe shared human songs, playing his guitar in the evenings after work. The Valyrian skin would pulse with the rhythm. Rick Collins, the security officer, interrupted one such session with bad news. Commander, our sensors have detected a Confederation scout ship entering the system. Lisa called an emergency meeting. How much time do we have? 2 days before they're in visual range, Rick replied. They're following a standard survey pattern. Hide everything, Lisa ordered. All equipment goes underground. All personnel return to the ship except for the designated science team. We're just observers studying an extinct civilization, remember. The humans and Valyrians worked through the night, concealing all evidence of the terraforming project. The atmospheric processors were buried deeper in the mines. The water purifiers were disguised as ancient Valyrian artifacts. The medical facilities were moved into caves. Will it be enough? Olivia asked as they finished. The Valyrians have helped other species hide things from the Confederation before, Lisa reminded her. They're experts at appearing harmless and unimportant. Kerim, the Valyrian elder, gathered his people. We will show only what they expect to see. A dying race accepting its fate. We have practiced this performance many times. Lisa watched the sad routine the Valyrians demonstrated, moving slowly, dimming their skin glow, acting resigned and hopeless. It wasn't entirely an act. Without human help, this would be their reality. I hate that they have to pretend to be dying just to avoid interference, Chris said quietly. The alternative is worse, Rick reminded him. If the Confederation realizes we're helping them, they could force us to leave, or punish Earth directly. As the scout ship drew closer, Lisa sent most of her crew into hiding. She stayed with a small team of scientists who had all memorized their cover story. Remember, she told them, we're just observing the natural end of a species. Nothing more. But as she watched the Valyrians dim their glow and slouch their shoulders in practiced defeat, she made a silent promise. This would not be their end. Humanity would not abandon them like the others had. The Confederation scout ship entered orbit. The real test was about to begin. The Earth Diplomatic Center buzzed with tension as the Confederation delegate arrived. Zorax was tall and gray-skinned with 4 eyes that seemed to look everywhere at once. Maria Clark, Earth's chief diplomat, greeted him with a careful smile. "Earth welcomes you, Delegate Zorax," she said. "How may we assist the Confederation today?" Zorax didn't bother with pleasantries. "Your ships have been observed making multiple visits to the Valyrian homeworld." "Explain." Maria kept her expression neutral. "Scientific observation. The Valyrians represent a unique case study of a civilization in its final stages. For scientific observation, you brought unusual equipment. Terraforming tools. Atmospheric processors." Zorax's upper eyes narrowed. "These are not observation tools." At Earth Central Command, Captain Greg Watson received the alert about Zorax's visit. He quickly called Sam Wilson, the communications director. "We need time," Greg said. "Delay any inspections of the Valyrian planet. Use whatever excuses you can find." Sam nodded. "I'll arrange communication difficulties with the Pathfinder. Technical problems. Maybe a solar flare." While they talked, Eric Garcia, the military strategist, entered with a worried look. "The Confederation has moved 3 enforcer ships closer to Earth space. Just a show of force for now, but we should prepare." Greg felt the weight of responsibility. What had started as a simple mission to help one species was turning into a potential conflict with the entire Confederation. Back at the diplomatic center, Zorax made his demands clear. "The Confederation has ruled the Valyrians non-viable. No assistance is permitted. Earth must withdraw all personnel immediately." Maria stood her ground. "The Confederation has no authority to prevent scientific study." "Science." Zorax laughed, a harsh sound. "We have reports of construction, of atmospheric change. These are not observations but interventions. If the planet is improving naturally, that would be a fascinating scientific development." Maria replied smoothly. Zorax slammed a hand on the table. "Do not play games. The Confederation has existed for thousands of years through strict adherence to our principles. The strong survive. The weak perish. This is the natural order." "Perhaps humans see nature differently," Maria said quietly. "Your trading privileges will be revoked. Your access to Confederation technology ended. Is one useless species worth such a price?" The meeting continued for hours. Other Confederation representatives joined remotely, all expressing outrage at Earth's actions. Maria sent urgent messages to Greg, warning of the escalating situation. On the Valyrian planet, Lisa received garbled communications about the diplomatic crisis. The Confederation scout ship remained in orbit, watching. She gathered her team. "We continue as planned," she told them. "If they order us to leave, we'll find a way to stall." Rick looked worried. "They could send enforcers to remove us physically." "Then we'll have to work faster," Lisa replied. Thousands of light years away, Maria stood before the full Confederation Council. Alien representatives from 50 species watched her with cold eyes. She had one chance to explain humanity's position. "Members of the Confederation," she began, "humans are new to your community. We have much to learn. But there are some principles we cannot abandon. Compassion is one of them." The council chamber filled with dismissive murmurs. "You speak of compassion as if it has value," said a reptilian delegate. "The galaxy is harsh, resources limited. Compassion is inefficient." Maria took a deep breath. "Then perhaps this is what humanity brings to the Confederation. A reminder that there is strength in helping others. That worth is not measured only in physical power or numbers." Her words caused a stir. Some delegates laughed. Others looked thoughtful. "The Valyrians shared their knowledge freely with everyone," Maria continued. "They asked for nothing in return until their world began dying. How does abandoning them serve anyone?" As she spoke, Greg received an urgent message from Lisa. The Confederation scout ship had requested permission to land on the Valyrian surface. They'd wanted to inspect everything. Time was running out. Earth had to make a decision. Abandon the Valyrians to preserve their standing with the Confederation, or stand firm and face the consequences. Greg sent a simple reply to Lisa. Show them everything. Let them see what humanity stands for. Lisa watched as the Confederation inspection ship landed near the Pathfinder. 3 tall aliens in sleek protective suits stepped out. Their faces were hidden behind dark visors. They moved with military precision. Remember, Lisa told her team, we have nothing to hide. The lead inspector spoke through a translation device. I am Inspector Drav. We will examine your activities here. Lisa nodded. Of course. We're conducting scientific studies of the Valyrians and their dying world. As they walked toward the Valyrian settlement, Laura Johnson, a science team member, hurried to Lisa's side. Commander, we need to talk, she whispered. The Valyrians just showed me something important. Not now, Lisa muttered. It's about why the Confederation really abandoned them, Laura insisted. Before Lisa could respond, Inspector Drav stopped suddenly. His scanning device was pointed at the ground. Explain these energy readings, he demanded. Lisa kept her face calm. Underground thermal vents. The Valyrians built their settlements near them for warmth. The inspector seemed suspicious but continued walking. At the settlement, Karim and other Valyrians greeted them with dimmed skin, playing their part as a dying race perfectly. While the inspectors examined the visible parts of the settlement, Laura pulled Lisa into a side chamber where Kevin Bryant, the chief engineer, was waiting with Thalos. You need to see this, Kevin said. Thalos led them deeper into the caves to a sealed door. When it opened, Lisa gasped. The chamber was enormous, filled with glowing crystals and strange devices. Holographic displays showed star maps, scientific formulas, and technical designs. What is this? Lisa asked. The archive. Thalos said. All knowledge from all species who visited us. All discoveries we made. All history of the galaxy. Laura's eyes were wide with excitement. It's the most complete collection of knowledge in the known universe. The Valyrians have been recording and preserving information for thousands of years. This is why the Confederation abandoned them, Kevin explained. Not because they were weak, but because they know too much. The Confederation controls other species by limiting technology and information. The Valyrians threatened that control. Lisa understood now. They labeled you non-viable to justify leaving you to die. They'd wanted your knowledge gone. Thalos nodded. We offered to share freely. Some species took specific knowledge, then left. None wanted all of it. Too dangerous, they said. Too equalizing, Kevin corrected. This archive could help any species advance beyond Confederation control. We wish to give it to humans, Thalos said. You helped without taking. You care about life, not power. Lisa felt the weight of this offer. This would make us an even bigger target for the Confederation. Back at the surface, Nicole Foster, the security officer, was monitoring the inspectors. She contacted Lisa urgently. Commander, they're scanning deeper than they claimed. They've detected the atmospheric processors. Lisa hurried back to find Inspector Drav confronting her team. You have violated Confederation Directive 7291, he stated coldly. Non-interference with non-viable species. These machines are changing the planet's atmosphere. They're research devices, Chris argued. They are terraforming equipment, Drav countered. The Confederation will be informed immediately. All human vessels will leave this planet within one planetary rotation. Lisa stepped forward. The Valyrians asked for our help. We couldn't ignore them. Their request is irrelevant. Their status was decided. By whom? Lisa asked. Who gives the Confederation the right to decide which species lives or dies? Strength gives that right, Drav replied without emotion. The Valyrians are weak. They were judged accordingly. As the inspectors returned to their ship, Lisa made a decision. She called Captain Greg. They know about the processors, but not about the archive. The Valyrians want to share all their knowledge with us. Greg was silent for a moment. That would change everything. The Confederation will never allow it. So what do we do? Lisa asked. Greg's voice was firm. We stand our ground. Earth won't abandon the Valyrians. Whatever comes next, we face it together. Earth received the official warning from the Confederation one day later. It was short and cold. Remove all personnel from the Valyrian planet or face isolation from galactic trade and possible military action. Admiral Stephanie Brooks called an emergency meeting of Earth's Defense Council. The room was filled with military leaders, scientists, and government officials. We have 20 Confederation warships moving toward Valyrian space, she reported. Our fleet consists of 15 ships, mostly exploration and science vessels. We are outmatched. Greg stood before the council. The Valyrians have shared their complete knowledge archive with us. It contains technology far beyond what the Confederation has given Earth. With time, we could use it to defend ourselves. Time we don't have, Stephanie replied. Daniel White, a scientist who had been studying the Valyrian data, raised his hand. There's something else. I found a way to accelerate the planetary healing process using Valyrian scientific principles. We could restore their atmosphere in weeks instead of months. What good is that if the Confederation forces us to leave? Someone asked. It gives the Valyrians a fighting chance, Greg answered. Even if we're forced to withdraw, a healed planet means they could survive. On the Valyrian world, Lisa and her team worked frantically. The Valyrians helped them modify the atmospheric processors using their advanced knowledge. This will create a chain reaction in the upper atmosphere, Thelos explained. It will pull harmful particles out and restore proper gas balance. Lisa looked at the strange devices they were building. Will it work in time? If the Confederation allows it, Thelos said sadly. They have stopped such efforts before. Back on Earth, the Council debated their options. Some argued for withdrawing to preserve Earth's interests. Others insisted they couldn't abandon the Valyrians. Maria spoke passionately. If we leave them to die when we could save them, what does that make us? Just another Confederation species putting self-interest above all else. This isn't just about one small alien race, Eric argued. It's about what kind of galactic community we want to build. One based on might, or one based on mutual aid. Ryan Cooper, a tactical officer, had been studying the Valyrian knowledge about Confederation ships. Their warships have a weakness, he reported. Their shield technology leaves small gaps during power cycling. It's not much, but it gives us a chance if fighting becomes necessary. The Council's debate lasted hours. Finally, the Earth President stood. We need to vote. Do we stand with the Valyrians against the Confederation, or do we withdraw? The vote was close. Fear of Confederation power was strong. But in the end, compassion won by a narrow margin. We stay, the President announced. We will broadcast our decision on all Confederation channels. Let every species know that humans will not abandon those in need. Greg immediately called Lisa. Start the accelerated atmospheric restoration. We're staying with you. Lisa gathered her team and the Valyrians. Earth has decided to stand with you, whatever comes next. For the first time, Karim shed tears. The liquid glowed with the same light as his skin. In all our history, no species has ever chosen to face danger for us. The Pathfinder crew worked non-stop alongside the Valyrians. The new devices were placed at key points around the planet. When activated, they sent pulses of energy into the atmosphere. The process has begun, Daniel reported, looking at his readings. The air is already changing. From orbit, the first Confederation ships arrived. Their message was simple: cease all activities and leave the planet. Lisa's reply was equally simple: we respectfully decline. As more Confederation ships appeared, the Earth fleet moved into defensive positions between them and the planet. The humans and Valyrians continued their work, racing against time. On his flagship, Greg looked at the overwhelming Confederation force gathering before them. The next few hours would determine not just the fate of the Valyrians, but perhaps the future of humanity's place in the galaxy. All ships, defensive formation, he ordered. We protect this planet at all costs. The Earth ships looked small against the massive Confederation fleet. Commander Amy Mitchell coordinated the defense from the bridge of the Aurora, their largest vessel. Her screen showed 15 human ships forming a protective barrier around the Valyrian planet. Confederation flagship is hailing us, reported Linda Harris, the communications expert. Amy nodded. Put them through. A stern alien face appeared on the main screen. This is Commander Vex of the Confederation Enforcement Fleet. You have one final chance to withdraw from Valyrian space. Greg stepped into view. This is Captain Greg Watson of Earth. We respectfully decline. The Valyrians are under our protection. Vex's expression didn't change. You risk much for a species deemed non-viable. Who deemed them so? Greg asked. A committee that never met them. Officials who wanted their knowledge but not their survival. The decision was made according to Confederation protocols, Vex stated flatly. Your interference violates those protocols. Then perhaps the protocols need changing, Greg replied. The transmission ended. Amy looked at her tactical display with concern. They're moving into attack formation. On the planet below, Zachary Bell, an engineer who had been working with Valyrian technology, rushed into the command center where Lisa was coordinating the atmospheric restoration. Commander, we've adapted Valyrian shield technology to our ships, he reported. It's not perfect, but it should strengthen our defenses. Lisa quickly sent the modifications to the fleet above. How's the atmospheric process going? The upper atmosphere is already showing improvement, Olivia reported. The Valyrians were right. This accelerated method is working. In space, Amy implemented the shield modifications. All ships activate enhanced shields. Remember the weak points in Confederation vessels that Ryan identified. If they fire first, target those areas only. The human fleet was outnumbered and outgunned, but they had something the Confederation didn't expect. Detailed knowledge of their technology's weaknesses, courtesy of the Valyrian archive. Greg opened a channel to all ships. This is not a battle we want. Our mission is protection, not destruction. Stand firm. The Confederation ships moved closer. Weapons systems came online. The human crews watched their displays nervously, waiting for the first shot. Then Linda detected something unusual. Captain, I'm picking up transmissions within the Confederation fleet. Some of their ships are arguing. Greg frowned. What do you mean? Our broadcast about protecting the Valyrians went out on all channels, Linda explained. It seems some Confederation crew members are questioning their orders. The standoff continued for tense minutes. On several Confederation ships, junior officers were openly discussing the ethics of attacking humans for trying to save a dying species. We're receiving a new transmission, Linda reported, but not from the Confederation flagship. A different alien appeared on screen. This is Sub-Commander Krell of the Confederation vessel Horizon. Many of us have visited the Valyrians over the years. We regret our inaction. We will not fire upon your ships. Greg exchanged surprised looks with Amy. Thank you, Sub-Commander. More messages came in from other Confederation ships expressing similar sentiments. Not all, but enough to create confusion in their ranks. Commander Vex's angry voice cut through the communications. Any ship refusing orders will face severe penalties. Prepare to fire on my mark. The first shots came from the Confederation flagship, aimed directly at Greg's command ship. The enhanced shields took the hit better than expected, but damage reports still came in. Return fire, Greg ordered. Target their shield cycling points, minimal force. The human ships fired with precision, hitting the exact spots where Confederation shields were weakest during power cycles. Several Confederation vessels lost partial shield coverage. But the most surprising moment came when 3 Confederation ships moved out of formation and positioned themselves between the human fleet and the flagship. This is wrong, Sub-Commander Krell broadcast to everyone. The humans are acting according to principles that we once valued. Compassion, protection of life. These should not be punishable offenses. 6 more Confederation ships broke formation, refusing to fire. The unified Confederation attack disintegrated into confusion. On the planet below, the Valyrians watched through their sensors as some of the very species who had abandoned them now refused to attack their protectors. It seems humans are not the only ones capable of change, Karim said quietly. The battle had only just begun, but something historic was already happening. The battle paused in sudden confusion. Both human and loyal Confederation ships held their fire as new vessels appeared at the edge of the system. They were unlike any ships Greg had seen before, elegant with flowing lines and shimmering hulls. "We're being hailed," Linda reported, surprise in her voice. A new alien face appeared on screen. This one had purple skin and eyes that seemed to contain stars. "I am Captain Ilara of the Arturian Alliance. We have been watching these events with great interest." 7 ships of different designs moved alongside the Arturian vessel. Greg realized they represented 7 different species. "The Confederation has ruled too long through fear and selective aid," Ilara continued. "We have remained neutral, watching from the shadows. But today, we can no longer stay silent." The new ships positioned themselves alongside Earth's fleet, creating a much stronger defensive line. Commander Vex of the Confederation looked shocked. "The Arturians, your species went into isolation centuries ago. We withdrew from a system we could not support," Ilara replied. "We and our allies have been waiting for something to change. The humans have shown us that change is possible." The balance of power had shifted. Now, with the Arturian Alliance ships, the rebel Confederation vessels, and Earth's fleet, they nearly matched the remaining loyal Confederation force. Vex demanded an emergency council meeting. Representatives from all present species joined a virtual conference. Jack Peterson, a decorated Earth officer with diplomatic training, presented their case. "The Valyrians have maintained records of how the Confederation has treated countless species," Jack explained, displaying evidence from the Valyrian archive. "Those deemed non-viable were left to die after their resources or knowledge was extracted. The records showed a pattern spanning centuries, the strong taking from the weak, then abandoning them." Many council members looked uncomfortable seeing their own species' actions documented so clearly. "This is not a galaxy I want humanity to inherit," Jack concluded. "We believe in helping those in need, not just those who can help us in return." After hours of tense negotiation, the Confederation leadership reluctantly agreed to new terms. The Valyrians would be recognized as a sovereign species under human protection. Earth would not be punished for its intervention. On the planet's surface, the atmospheric processors had worked beyond expectations. Already, the sky showed patches of blue instead of toxic gray. The air was becoming breathable again. Lisa stood with Karim watching the sunrise. "It's beautiful," she said. "The first clear sunrise in a generation," Karim replied, his skin glowing with bright, hopeful patterns. "My grandchildren will know blue skies because of humans." In the weeks that followed, representatives from the Arturian Alliance and the rebel Confederation ships came to the Valyrian world. The Valyrians, growing stronger as their planet healed, began sharing their vast knowledge, not with just one species at a time, but with all who wished to learn. A new interstellar agreement was formed. Unlike the Confederation's strength determines worth principle, this alliance would be based on mutual aid and respect for all life forms. 1 year later, Lisa visited the main Valyrian settlement, now flourishing under clear skies. New crystal buildings caught the sunlight, and Valyrian children played alongside human children whose families had chosen to stay and help. Commander Hayes called a young Valyrian with brightly pulsing skin. "Look what I made." The child held up a small device that projected a holographic image of Earth and the Valyrian planet orbiting a shared star. "It's us," the child explained. "Together." Lisa smiled. The device was a simple toy, but its meaning was profound. Because humans had refused to accept the abandonment of one small species, the entire structure of galactic politics had shifted. Greg joined her, watching the children play. Earth's Central Command sent new orders today. We're to establish a permanent diplomatic post here. The Valyrian-Human Alliance is official. And the Confederation? Lisa asked. Changing, slowly. Some species are leaving to join our alliance. Others are questioning their old ways. Together, they watched as human and Valyrian teachers worked side by side, sharing knowledge freely. What had started as a rescue mission had become something much more important, the beginning of a new way for different species to exist together. Not through power, but through compassion. Not through abandonment, but through protection. The galaxy would never be the same again.